I will call this meeting to order. Still getting okay. Max, will you please confirm the form?
Pursuant to Article 4, Section 7 of the bylaws of Westbrook Village, a quorum is 1/2 the number of the directors now serving shall constitute a quorum. At a meeting of the board, there are 7 members. We have 6 members present, plus 1 member on the phone. So I do declare we have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. Review and correction of the minutes. I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we accept the minutes as printed.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any comments, corrections? Okay, with that said, I'll call it to the vote. All those in favor of approving our minutes from last month, please say so by saying aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Thank you. Unfinished business. Facilities usage report, pages 19 through 21.
Treasurer.
Oh, okay.
You forgot me already?
Let's check it off. Forgive me. Treasurer's report is now next. Mr. Canaro, I apologize.
Okay, Treasurer's report for the month ending April 30th, 2026. General operating fund exists to support the day-to-day operations of the Westbrook Village Association. As of April 30th, 2026, this fund holds a cash balance of $3,277,680. This total includes the homeowner assessments collected for the year 2026, as well as certificates of deposit, which together provide the association with a strong financial foundation for its ongoing operational needs. For the 2026 fiscal year, the association anticipates total revenue of $3,553,638, of which $3,202,290 is expected to come from member assessments. This underscores the importance of member contributions in sustaining the activities of the association. During April, the association received total revenue of $297,304, most notably coming from resale processing fees, RV lot rental fees, and rec center rental fees, while total operating expenses for the same period amounted to $339,841. Most notable expenses were payroll, benefits, insurance, landscaping, and utilities. The Replacement Reserve Fund is designed to finance major repairs, equipment replacements, and capital improvements throughout Westbrook Village. As of April 30th, 2026, the reserve fund balance stands at $5,175,216. This fund is supported by proceeds from home sales and preservation fees collected during those transactions. In April, there were 30 home resales within the community, with preservation fees waived for 7 of these transactions. For the fiscal year 2026, the association has budgeted $1,577,650 in expenditures from the Replacement Reserve Fund. So far, $125,841 of this budget has been used. For the month of April, $10,149 was spent for the Vistas Fitness Center walls and window replacements. The remaining budgeted funds are allocated for upcoming projects such as a possible gym facility at the lakes, which includes the installation of a fire sprinkler system. Additional planned initiatives include a turf reduction project in phase 1, as well as ongoing maintenance projects throughout Westbrook Village. As usual, all financial statements are available for review at the Westbrook Village Association Admin Office. For questions or to schedule an appointment, please contact the office. Thank you.
Thank you. I would entertain a motion to approve the budget for last month and expenditures.
I move that the April budget be approved pending audit.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Anything from the gallery? Yes, sir.
Skip Bezonia, Torrey Pines. A while back we were discussing percentages. Health of the community, 70%. Do we know where we are? Sounds like it's good. But,
Oh, you're talking for the reserve fund?
The reserve fund.
Yeah, we're almost 100% fully funded.
I wouldn't mind if we reported that every month.
That's
Yeah,
full
but
request.
it's not that easy because
Is that right?
Yeah, it's a
it's an
moving
annual
target.
percentage
Oh, is that right?
report according to the reserve study.
Because it would be nice.
I'll
These
try to
are
get
nice
that.
big numbers.
I'll
It
try to
all
get
looks
that.
good.
Okay.
But
Fair request.
Yeah.
We'll do
Just
as best as we can with it, but when we report numbers, people take it as fact, and
Yeah.
that target kind of moves around as we go through the year, so we gotta be careful. That's all.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
But feel comfortable. I'm confident we're over 85% funded right now.
because that's what I'm looking for, right?
Yeah.
These numbers are all big. You know,
Yeah.
we're spending money. Everything's looking good.
Great.
But it'd be great to see
That's right.
a health chart.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Kevin Nielsen, Ironwood. Along those lines, do we have a subtotal of the number of resales we've had year to date? And the one, the net number, the one we were able to charge them?
Me for the whole year, up to date?
Yes.
Year. I don't have it readily available to me.
That's kind of nice to know too, if we're, if we're on
Okay.
target or not. on
Okay.
target with
We
our
review
budget.
that at Ways and Means.
Okay, that's reviewed at our Wednesday meetings, and
Yeah.
I see no harm in
Yeah,
including it in your
I'll
report.
mark it down, but we'll include it.
Okay. Thank you. Anything else? Okay, I'll call this to a vote. All those that are voting in favor of our expenditures and budget for the month of May, please so by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, I said May, April. That's why you folks are here, keep me honest. Thank you, I appreciate it. Month of April, folks. Let's do it again, because I didn't hear you, Steve, either. Just so you know, we have one board member via phone and can't get it piped into our system very well, but all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, that passes unanimously. Now, unfinished business. Facilities usage report should be coming up behind me here. Hope everybody notices that our facilities are being well used this year. That's a good thing.
Total for 2025 was 175,626 visitors for the year.
I have a question, Bruce.
Yes, sir.
Are we to vote on this?
No,
No,
it's informational.
It's informational.
It's only fair.
Okay.
Any discussion? Any comments out there? All right, thank you. Moving on. New business. Delinquent account, suspension of privileges.
Okay, at our last Ways and Means Committee, we had a discussion about what our delinquent accounts are and all. And based on that, I think there should be a change. And so therefore, I think at this time, I want to make a motion. That is a motion to amend the deadline for suspension of recreation privileges for non-payment of annual assessment fees to March 1st, and remove payment boxes at the Lakes and Vistas recreational centers, and using the administration office drop box for all payments.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All right.
I have
Discussion?
Yeah, I have a question. I'm just a little confused. Usually when we're discussing something, we'll have some information in our binder or a slide up, and there was nothing in my binder. Did I just get missed, or is there stuff in our binders?
No, we're formalizing a policy.
So should we have like
It's a.
the
there's not a
existing
written-
policy
There's
to?
not an existing, so we're formalizing a written policy.
Okay, so I think there should be something in here that we can review or like have looked at ahead of time to review. I understand the motion, and
Okay, what did you want to see?
I want to see what are we gonna talk about? What are we doing?
We're
Right
trying
now,
to formalize a policy here.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I get it. I understand that, but is everybody already aware of the policy? I'm not. So that's what I'm talking about, is I'm just confused on, it's the only time I've ever not seen what we're talking about. Everything else reflects to a page in here. So I'm just saying in the future, maybe we can put in there that like,
So you'd like us to draft a policy for you to see in advance?
or whoever, like, who brings this,
Ways and Means.
who's to the table? So maybe like presented by Ways and Means or something, you know. I'm just suggesting that it's tough to think about things ahead of time when we don't know what we're thinking about. I don't know,
I have a question though. I just wanted to know what the reasoning is behind moving the collection boxes from the recreation center to the administration office only. Was there a problem developed at the recreation centers?
Well, I think it is what we had discussed, is that too many times when Karen brings them up that people are putting in paid, they try to give a reason why they didn't pay, or they say they did pay and it can't be tracked. And then later on, when we check it, we just left it on the counter at one of the recreation centers. Then who knows where those envelopes and checks go? We need a place where we know they're gonna go, where they're all gonna go, and where they should be if they don't mail them or deliver themselves.
Or pay online.
Or pay online.
Many people are starting to pay online and
Yeah.
fewer in the drops. And to expound on what Bob's saying is that when people miss the deadline, they write a letter to the Ways and Means Committee to waive the late fee. And a majority of those requests are saying, well, I dropped it, I left it on the counter, or I did this or did that. So we're trying to bring it in.
Is that March 1st date a change of any kind, or is that what it's been?
It's been June 1st,
Used to-
and this year was April 15th. And we received 29 payments immediately by the end of April of delinquent accounts. And the committees had lengthy discussion on it, as you'll see in the minutes, and they recommended March 1st.
so there is, where does it say April 15th?
It was published this year that that's when the the rec privileges were being suspended.
But you're saying
All over the
that's
email.
not a policy though?
It's always been in the hands of the Ways and Means Committee.
That's
They're the
why-
financial.
This is why we're doing what we're going to do.
This is why I'm
Okay,
saying.
and
there's
that's
nothing-
fine. I get what you're saying. And I think we can have a thoughtful discussion right now and put this to rest. Because, folks, if you don't realize it, we have not a huge number, but we do have a number of people in this community that I refer to as deadbeats that don't pay their bill. And I'm sorry I just said that, it's gonna come back and bite me, but the most productive way of encouraging people to pay their assessment is to revoke their facilities usage rights. And in the past, it's been so far out, we have one staff member that works way too much time on this subject to try to collect money. And if we can expedite things for that person, it would be very helpful. And that's why March 1st works for me, because folks, that gives you 2 full months to pay, and everybody in this community knows when they're due to begin with, and that's when? January 1st. And so we're just trying to cut out the excuses. Now the drop boxes, folks, if you don't understand here, that drop box, all we do is pull the envelopes out and deliver them to our accounting firm. We don't process them here. And one of the main excuses has been, well, I put it in the Dropbox. You must have lost it, so then that puts it on us, our staff. And that I am the one that encouraged removing the Dropboxes out of the rec centers. Because, ma'am, I can hear you clear up here. Thank you. So I suggested that we remove the drop boxes out of the rec centers and put it directly at our admin building where there are cameras where we have proof that people came in. Does that help describe where we're trying to achieve here, Joe?
Yeah, I totally understand what we're trying to achieve now that I'm verbally hearing it. I'm just talking about, I didn't know what we were gonna discuss prior to this, and I'm just saying we can improve on that communication, I think.
I think that is duly noted. Thank you. Yeah.
I would like to say that you reference one person that does all the collections. The month of March is very busy for that person because she's also helping to finalize and coordinate the annual meeting. And I'm wondering if April 1st would be, not to mention April Fool's Day, if that would be a more realistic deadline for this to be enacted too. I'm just trying to give the staff a little bit of a break, and since we normally have had that deadline later in the year, this kind of is a bit of a compromise on all of it.
I will remind you that we kind of worked that out in ways that meeting with her personally.
I know, but
okay.
she was being super staffer at that point,
and just so you guys know what that was, she was willing to work 2 extra days in that month to help offset that pressure that she has squarely on her shoulders.
Well, it can simply be, I think the HOA chooses when to enforce it, but as far as we're telling the public, there needs to be a deadline, and the deadline, I believe, should be moved up.
Yeah.
And then either way, when somebody puts their check in, it gets recorded no matter what day they do it. And then they know that if we choose to enforce take away their privileges when they try to use their card, that's when they find out that it's been enforced. So I think we could still keep, was it on March 31st? Is that
March 1st.
March 1st deadline on there. I think that would expedite and put notice, if you will, out to the community that we're expecting it by that date.
And folks, so you know that these folks aren't blindsided. They're getting phone calls constantly and emails. And is it in writing?
And
it is
yes.
in writing So there's not a whole lot of valid excuses in my mind here for non-payment.
So just as a timeline, the invoices go out in November. They're not due until January 1st. They're considered late on February 1st. That's when you get the penalty. So we don't want to tell people they now have until March or April 1st, right? The late fee will still assess on February 1st. February 15th, they get a past due notice printed and mailed to them. And then in March, Renee will start with the phone calls.
Yeah, and so we're just simply adding March 1st, privilege is revoked.
Right, correct.
Yep.
And what it's going to be helpful, it's going to be in writing. It's going to,
Yes.
It's going to be a formal
Formalized.
policy, yes. Okay, I see lots of hands up. Yes, ma'am.
You got me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, here I come. The way I heard you read that.
Name, please.
Oh,
Name and subdivision.
Cindy Clark, Village Terrace.
Okay.
The way I heard you read that, it sounds like the policy is now the only place you can pay your money is at the admin. It didn't, it excluded
Yeah.
online, et cetera. So I think the verbiage needs to be cleaned up a little.
It says drop boxes.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
does that make sense?
When we
hear what you're
write
saying.
it, when we write it, we can make sure if we want to bring it back next month, you guys, we're not in a hurry. We got plenty of time.
It was always intention that the Dropbox will remain at the admin building. The other options are online, or you can pay in person at our accountant, and that'll be it. Yes, ma'am. Joy.
Joy Groves, St. Andrew's Place. I just was wondering on the benefits or whatever, the privileges, does that include voting? Because to you,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
so if you have it March 1st, that's before we have the annual meeting.
Yep.
So that might encourage, you know, I mean, I don't know, but I figure that might encourage people to go ahead and get their money in. So I think what you're doing is fine. Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
just so you know, is that if you were delinquent 2 days, if you were delinquent before the annual meeting votes count, your vote still doesn't count. It says that on everything. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Kathy Carter, Willow Ridge, is there any kind of process or procedure for hardship cases?
Yes, and that is addressed monthly in the Ways and Means meeting. They have to make an appeal as such.
So,
That is
okay.
addressed because of privacy, well, that's kind of changed, but the privacy issues, names aren't shared. But
Okay.
yes, there is an appeal process.
Okay, so they could be excluded from this date if they had a hardship appeal.
That is possible,
Okay.
yes.
Thank you.
Wait, back up. I'm referring to the delinquent fee. I am not referring to the actual annual assessment. To my knowledge, we have never waived the annual assessment in its own right.
So if a homeowner has a hardship, Kathy, what happens is they need to write a letter to the Ways and Means Committee, needs to be heard by the committee. Let's say that they needed to get funds from a family member or make it in repayments. That is heard, but they still fall under this until it is resolved.
Okay.
Yeah,
I could see
it-
us setting up a plan maybe to make payments if that would facilitate the death of the, I mean, there's all kinds of.
Sure, they deal with that.
You could work that
Yeah,
out in some
but it
ways,
still
yeah.
doesn't
But they still
avoid
lose their
this
privileges in the
scenario.
meantime.
Correct.
Okay, got it.
Yes. And there's very few. Let's talk about our delay. I mean, we get 1 or 2 hardship cases out of 3,910 a year, and the Ways and Means Committee is wonderful. They're very reasonable.
Kevin, you want to talk about it?
I don't know, is there a fee for paying online?
Yes, If you pay with a credit card, yes.
But otherwise, no.
Yes.
Yes, I think the easier it is to pay that way where you've got a absolute record. The other thing is, sometimes organizations handle it with a discount. So if you pay on time, it's a discount, which would be the regular price. If you pay late, then it's another price. It's the full price, it's not a penalty, right? So to have it waived, there wouldn't really be a penalty to be waived. You're just paying full price. You're not getting a discount if you pay on time. So, or if you pay late. But the numbers would be the same.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. I think that's probably for a different discussion, the ways and means, actually.
So to clarify on the fees, if you pay via ACH or direct payment, it's like a $2.95 fee. If you pay via credit card, it's over $30. There's a percentage that's charged by the credit card company.
So that's a different answer. There is a fee to pay with your checking account.
Yes.
Online.
Yes.
I would suggest we waive that to make it easier for people to pay online.
We don't have the ability, that's a hard cost from the bank.
It's not ours to waive.
Karen, can you tell me again what you just said? If you pay like with a debit card, it's
Yeah.
cheaper?
Or an ACH, which is just a direct
And what
your
does that
account.
cost?
It's like $2.95.
Minimum,
It's
very
the-
minimum.
It's the bank fee.
Yeah.
That's just put to the homeowner.
Okay,
But
yes.
if you pay by credit card, it's over $30.
Right.
Yeah, and those are hard costs to us. The
I get it,
HOA
yeah.
gets none of that money.
Right.
So that's why we want to keep open the ability to drop off a check, because there's zero fees with that.
Right.
So all the options are there.
Right. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Okay, we have a long meeting today, folks. Anybody have anything new to present or say? With that said, I'm going to call this to a vote.
Confirming that the motion was for 3-1.
Right, March 1st.
That was Bob and Max.
Right.
Okay?
And to get rid of those boxes, right?
And
And the
that
boxes,
include-
yep.
including
At both?
The Dropbox. that
the
way
two
you can
drop
just-
boxes.
Thank you.
Are we good? Okay, all those in favor of this motion, please so by saying aye.
Aye.
Steve? Can't hear. Okay. I will, all those opposed? This motion passes. Thank you. Next item, new club application, just for fun pickleball. As you'll see, this went through the rec committee meeting on 2 separate occasions. It was denied the first time, and then they went through the appeal process, and it was granted, and now it's before us.
I'd like to move that we accept the application for the new club, Fun with Pickleball.
I second.
Just for fun, pickleball club.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion here?
I have a concern, and I did mention this at the rec committee, and never really got my answers, but I'm concerned that this club is not allowing people to bring guests into it, and I feel that the other concern I have is they didn't approach the existing pickleball club to try and create a division within it to have this be part of the club. And I always want
What they're
to.
not allowing is paid annual guest members. They can bring guests just as well as anybody else can bring a guest in.
Well, that's
They're
not.
just not allowing, in the contract or in the papers, it says policy, this club does not permit the issuance of annual non-resident members club participation card to non-residents. So they can have guests in. There's nothing there that says this is a paid annual member.
I agree that they can, but I see on their paperwork here, it says no guests from 7 to 10. And I don't want to encourage us to not be viewed by the public as, you know, shutting down people that want to enjoy this place with their guests. I mean, I think it sends, the optics of it are not that good.
That was removed at rec committee, right, Max?
I thought it was.
Yeah.
Here it is, right here. It
Yeah,
wasn't
no, it
removed.
was discussed, but it's the same packet. They did not approve that.
Well, that's not the information, again, I'm only,
Did you read the minutes?
I got the information right here. I'm looking, go forward to that slide, you all see it up there. So I don't know if it's been changed, it needs to be erased off of what they're presenting us today. And again, the other concern I have is that I don't really see a need to have a club, about 2 separate clubs when one club does the same thing already.
May I ask what the current pickleball club policy is on guests during club play from 7 to 10 in the morning?
So we're not asking about the annual packet that we're looking at here. You're talking about residents checking in guests, not becoming members of the club, because we have 2 different items we're talking about here. I want us to be clear on this.
Who's the representative from this other club?
Right here. So I can give you a little bit of history. The existing pickleball club had 6 members about 5 years ago that moved out of Westbrook. They grandfathered them in. They're down to allowing 1 additional annual non-resident club guest member for the existing pickleball club. That's on this same packet that they turn in January. Many of our clubs fill out this form and do not allow guests because there's not enough room in the facilities for 3 to 4 months of the year. Now, Bruce, I think your question is different, is that on the open play courts, residents bringing in guests to play that are not part of the club?
Well, that's correct, but Joe, I believe that's what you're referring to, aren't you, with that? Or am I misinterpreting what you're telling me?
That can be part of it, I guess, but I'm also concerned that somebody that joins this club, it's just for fun, right? Social.
Correct.
Why, let's say I join it. Why can't I bring my friend?
They're not saying.
You can.
Yes, they
You
are,
just
right
can't-
here, no guests from 7 to 10.
Okay, and that's the
This is
point.
membership.
No, it says guests, it doesn't say membership.
Yeah, are you looking at
The club does not permit the issuance of annual non-resident club participation card. That's not a punch pass. That's a card to be a club member. 2 different things.
This doesn't say anything about that here. It says no guests from 7 to 10.
It does.
Again, 7 to 10, you making the motion to delete that. Kathy, wasn't that agreed at rec committee to remove that?
Yeah, come up and speak in that
Yeah,
microphone.
there was a discussion about it, and we never approved any mapping. That's on the schedule.
Yes.
I don't know what a map is. Just see this right here. Right here.
Yeah, that's
That's
called
the schedule.
Yes.
And that's
Okay.
gonna happen after the club.
That's
if
a
the club is
different
approved.
discussion.
No, I think it's a discussion for right now. Are you allowing guests or not?
All clubs have the option to put guests in their clubs, but clubs typically don't have guests unless they're listed in their packet as a member, a non-resident member of the club. So this is no different than the regular pickleball club. They don't allow guests in their club unless it's in their packet of paperwork that somebody has, you know, is a member of the club, non-resident is a member of the club. But the pickleball club right now, the current pickleball club, you can't bring a guest in during that playtime. 7 to whatever in the morning. During their club time on the mapping, you can't bring a guest in during that time. And when the board made a resolution to set aside 4 courts for residents at all times during the day, because previously the pickleball club had every court in the morning. And then the board made a resolution to allow 4 courts to be available for residents at all times. The resolution says residents. It does not say residents and guests. So we're still at an impasse on how to interpret those 4 courts. And we are, and this is off topic too. So that's why I'm telling you it's a different topic than the approval of the club.
Okay, when I was at the rec committee, other things were said, like the fitness center already doesn't allow guests from time to time.
Right.
So that's why we don't allow guests from time to time.
Right. But that's a different, we're just trying to approve the club here, the club. We're not looking at the schedule right now.
Well, I feel that if we approve the club based on what was given to us, we're also approving that they can limit the guests or not have guests.
All clubs do that.
I disagree. I don't think all clubs do that.
They do.
Because
So let me try to clear it up for you, Joe. We have 2 different ways to bring a guest into Westbrook Village, okay? The first one is if you want to be a member of Glass Arts. Our staff goes to this piece of paper that you're seeing on page 26 and says, can you go out and be sponsored by a resident and become a club member? You pay the club fee, you come to the front desk, you pay a $75 fee to be an annual club guest of that. What you're talking about, I believe, this whole 7 to 10 is I'm coming and I want to play just for fun pickleball court and I want to bring my sister with me. Well, if it's during that club play and they're not doing the guests, it doesn't have to be allowed. Many of our clubs don't allow guests during scheduled times because of space allocation. And that's why the rec committee decided if the club was to get approved, then we would meet again and work on all the court scheduling to make sure all the 2 clubs and the existing board policy work on the schedule. So, in essence, if you took a red pen and you X'd out that schedule, that should resolve it.
How do you feel, Joe? I'm trying to read you.
are you trying to read me?
Yeah.
If you want my thoughts, it's like, look over here, but don't look here. You know, I think we need to do a better job again of communicating what's going on, because even I'm taken aback a little bit being told that the pickleball club won't allow me and a friend to come play.
That's correct.
During club hours.
During club hours, that's correct.
None of them do. That's why there's open play. This is not new.
I've never seen no guests allowed. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Any other comments? Yes, ma'am.
Candace Isherwood. I'm Joe. I just want to explain that it has nothing to do with the club. The no guests from 7 to 10, that should be removed from that map or whatever it is. As far as we're concerned, the time that we asked for is at 10 o'clock. So as far as no guests through 7 through 10, that shouldn't be on there, and you're correct. Okay? And I would like it removed
And
as well.
that's a mapping issue there,
Can
usage.
we cross it out?
I think the motion just should delete it. Would that satisfy you?
Is it still in the background?
Absolutely, all our clubs have that right to exclude guests at certain times. And as tragic as that is kind of our reality. Kevin, I saw you first.
Yeah, this is.
Again, please, this is going to be a very long meeting if we keep going like this. If you don't have anything fresh to say, don't come on up. Just
All right, I've been here twice, you know who I am. I was at the first rec committee meeting when when this was brought forward. Among the comments that were made by the presenter were that there were 2 tennis clubs. That was corrected at the meeting. But also there were 4 pool clubs. And not being a member of any of those, I was curious, so I looked into it. There is a water aerobics club. There is a water volleyball club. There is a water Zumba dance club. There is a water walking fitness club, and there is a water noodle fitness club. So those are all, seems like different activities. But the main point I'd like to make is you're not voting to add 1 pickleball club to the existing pickleball club. You're adding 10, 20, 30. There are many, many groups of people larger than this 20-person group that would love to get 4 courts during the Goldilocks hours, not too early, not too late, not too hot in the summer, not too cold in the winter. But what we do is we go around, we find a time when the courts aren't busy, and then I'm in a group that consists of about 40 people. Probably 20 on average show up. We'd love to be a club, we just didn't think about it.
So with that being said, there's going to be competition for courts now.
Well, I'm sorry, I would suggest that any club forming needs to have a purpose or meaning. And that club would have to prove to the recreation committee at least that it's a necessary thing before it will be approved.
that's Jordan.
I guess I'm confused here. Do we have a representative from the pickleball? Or, I mean, why is this being voted on during off-season? And that bothers me.
What's the difference?
I'm sorry.
Well, is there a representative from the pickleball club?
Well,
I think they're representatives from
I think
both
they're
of them.
represented very well.
They've been represented at all the meetings, Josh.
Right now, we're just going to either approve or disapprove a recommendation from the rec committee that already approved this, which has been discussed during prime time up till now. So it's not, there's nothing new going on here.
Business as usual.
This is, yes, business as usual.
So, were the agendas for the rec committee made public before you had this discussion?
Oh, yes. Yes, they were.
I didn't understand that.
It just
By law.
Thank you, okay.
feels wrong, sorry.
Okay, is it Mr. Davis?
Good morning, Board. Tim Davis, and I don't know where I live.
Cypress Point.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's kind of odd because it's kind of like Nancy Pelosi once said that you need to vote for it before you know what's in it. The problem here is that what I see is, first of all, I'm not against adding a new club. That I don't know. But and I have to apologize. I've been trying to get a house all set for us, but so I haven't been to a couple of these meetings, and I apologize. I was told that somebody says that the rec committee has never turned down a club. Well, We have standards that we need to follow. To me, that's not a standard. I have not seen, other than the letter that was put up there, I've never seen any type of impact assessment, no resource review, no membership justification, and no governing document aligning review. Again, the president in governing risk, set procedures for competing clubs whenever disagreement arise, creates inconsistent governance without document standards, introduces liability exposure to Westbrook Village due to the unreviewed resources and insurance impact. I haven't seen any of that stuff. So I would like to make a suggestion that we table this and we look at some of this stuff, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Is there,
Yes, sir.
Mike Golick, Iowa Estates. I've been to all of these meetings with this new club, and I actually am the vice president of the club. And I don't understand why there's so much hatred from the other pickleball club for a new club. All we want to do is have fun, and I really feel that they've gone out of their way to try to stop this. We just want to have fun. We just want to go play pickleball. We're not asking for any of their club time. We've asked for basically 4 hours a day, 4 courts. There's plenty of space for everybody to play, and there's no impact to their club at all. But they're so much against us, and I don't understand why. They can still play pickleball. They can still do their thing, but they're just stopping us from trying to get our club before we can do our thing. And I really think that's really bad that from the Westbrook Village standpoint, because I've been a resident here for over 10 years, and my father-in-law and mother-in-law were residents here before that. I just think it's really bad that we're presenting this in a way that it's hurting the community. So I really hope that you think about that, and when you make your votes, that it's just a club. It's not hurting them. We're not going after them. We're not taking anything away from them. We just want a little time, and it's a little time where we can have our club. And there's other clubs that have up that are duels. And I just, again, I don't think that there's a reason that you guys should vote against us, because we're not here to hurt anybody. We're not here to hurt them. We're not here to bother them. We just want to have a little bit of time to play our club. And we just want to have fun. Thank you.
yeah, I don't feel any hatred in the room towards this club.
I do. I've been a resident here for 10 years. And these 3 meetings, this is the 3rd one I've been to on this, I do feel hatred. I feel that they come up and there's hatred towards this because they don't want to give up any time. And we're not asking for any of their time. We just want a little bit of time for our club. And that's all we're asking for.
Did you guys approach the pickleball club to get some time within?
The problem that I have with the pickleball club, the current pickleball club, and that's a personal thing for me, is I feel that there's some of the people that are in charge are bullying, and I don't like that. So I really don't want to be part of a bullying club, and that's how I feel that they are. They think all their members, and they feel, I normally would bet you don't have this many people at the clubs. When we went to the recreation meetings, there was probably 30 times more people there than they're normally there, all because they don't want our club. And again, it's not have to hurt them. We're not like saying we want to take their away. That's not what we're trying to do. We want to be part of their club. They can do their thing. We want to be our own club, doing our thing. And everybody is welcome. If you're a pickleball member, you want to come join our club, please come join it. We're going to have fun. We're going to do different things to make it fun. But we don't want to be part of their club. Again, I feel there's hatred from their club, and I don't want to be part of a hatred thing. And that's how I feel, which is personal. I'm not saying everybody else feels that way, but I feel that way. So,
Okay, thank you very much.
thank you. I appreciate your board. You guys do a great job.
As chairman of the rec committee, I've been in on this from the very beginning, and I will state that I feel very strongly that this new club has shown a purpose, has shown a reason for forming this club, and they are all valid. So I ask the board to pass this.
Why was it denied in the first meeting?
I'm sorry?
I'm just curious why it was denied when it first came. Because like they had to appeal it, right, and come back.
Well, I tell you, I was surprised too. I didn't realize that was gonna happen.
Okay.
That's why they made the appeal.
I got two more
They have the
folks
right.
that want comments, and then I'm cutting this off. Ma'am, you had something to say? Yes.
Laura Ross, Village Square. I just wanted to say that I want to keep the 4 main courts open for anyone at any time of the day. I feel like if we have another pickleball club, it's going to keep just regular people away from just coming in, badging in, and playing pickleball with a friend, or a guest, or someone from out of town. That's what the fear is, I think, with having another pickleball club, is we gotta go around all the club hours. Well, I hope those 4 courts are always kept. I know I haven't gone to a rec meeting, but I should, but I wanted to make that point.
Okay, thank you. Now, that's a whole different issue, and that's called court scheduling, and that is not part of this
The 4 courts
discussion.
are not part of it?
No, not at this time.
Okay.
But there is a policy.
There's already a policy in place. Those 4 courts are to remain open for residents and their guests. Correct. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, last comment.
All right, Jennifer Stout, Pinehurst Place. I have been at almost every meeting, Ways and Means, Recs, long-term, everything for the last 2 years. What that gentleman just said about the bullying and everything, I've asked this several occasions to these women face-to-face, said, show me that email. Show me that bullying that you had. They can't show it. They keep saying something about threatening emails and bullying. Let's see the proof.
Okay.
So again, this has all been around 3 people, and it's taken over 2 years of our time and effort and money. Our employees have helped out with this, trying to get these documents for them. This has gone way too far for a small group that can't get along with another. Take your ball and go home, but let's play together. We're all adults.
Thank you. I appreciate your comment. With that said, I'm going to call this measure to a vote. All those in favor, please show by raising your hand if you're in favor of this motion. Mr. Mergovich, how do you vote?
Let me try to call him. In just a minute.
Folks, I'm sorry, this thing is not cooperating today at all.
Hi, Steve, sorry, I'm grabbing you on the other line. We're taking the vote on the new pickleball club? Okay, so Bruce is asking for a vote on the new pickleball club, just for fun pickleball.
Did you hear the discussion at all?
Okay, did you call for right now?
Yes.
I vote to let them in, whatever that's either aye, or yes, or however you want to phrase it.
Okay.
Okay. With that said, all those opposed? Thank you. That motion passes. Thank you.
Okay, Steve, it passed. Do you want to stay on so you can hear?
Yeah.
Moving on. Edgewater Park, Zero Escape Board Appeal.
I'm actually representing Edgewater.
Okay, thank you.
So normally Marcy would be here as the liaison to the architectural committee, but she's off doing her civic duty, jury duty. So, Amy, do you want to take the reins?
Only because I'm chair of the committee. So, Edgewater Park is seeking to do a conversion to water tolerant xeriscaping, not fully formalized xeriscaping. And the committee reviewed the plans. It's a pretty large project. There was one glitch in granting approval right at the committee level, and that is that there was an agreement with the golf club, that there would remain turf in like 20 feet on our main thoroughfares, and they're seeking to have that. And that is a signed contract, which I know, Joe, I understand that you'll probably say you didn't read it, but...
Oh, I read it.
Okay, good. So before you said you had not.
Well, yeah, because it wasn't at our meeting, right?
Right. So that contract remains in effect with the golf club, and I put up the need for them to get a variance from the board in light of that contract. And the contract was written like in 2008 or
2006.
2006. Good.
Can I get a motion on this so we can have a conversation, please?
I'll make a motion, we approve this appeal.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion?
I'll let Amy finish this, I don't want to.
No, go on.
Okay.
I'm fine.
So at the ACC meeting, Amy had said that this contract existed, but we didn't have it there to review and look at. So now it is here for us to review and look at. And the contract is between Westbrook Village Association and the Westbrook Village Golf Club. It has nothing to do with Edgewater. And it talks about simply that they need to abide, or their lack of ability of the golf club to abide by overseeding every year, which is in our CCNRs, that they wanted to overseed certain places every other year. And that's basically what this contract is. It has no effect on any neighboring properties at all. So I don't see why we cannot allow Edgewater to move forward with their xeriscape plan, because it's a good plan and it looks really good, and this contract has no bearing on their property at all.
Just so you know, I am for them being able to do it. I just have respect for contracts of this HOA, and the spirit of the contract at the time it was drafted was to maintain our beautiful green appearance to people coming in and casually viewing. So that was the spirit of the contract. It wasn't drafted with individual properties like you mentioned, Joe.
Right, so that's what I'm saying. It doesn't affect Edgewater's ability to do what they want.
Okay, thank you.
I have an addition to that. At the October 6, 2003 Architectural Control Committee meeting, in the minutes you'll read on page 75, also discussion and consideration was given to the 11 sub-associations who oversee water and maintain grass on Edgewater Road, Lakeview Road, and Westbrook Parkway. All of these associations are required to maintain water and oversee these large areas of grass for the benefit of the overall appearance of Westbrook. In light of what Amy says, it talks about what they're wanting to do within their subdivision and in between the houses. This is a major intersection, just like with the landscaping facilities is working on at Westbrook Parkway and Lakeview. This is a major intersection. The golf course just across the street is required to keep all of their grass along Westbrook Parkway. And if Edgewater just does the corner, I think that my concerns that were relayed to me from the ACC committee is the corner that they want to xeriscape. Is that right, Amy? None of the rest of the project.
That's correct, right, Roma?
It is.
Yeah.
Just so I looking at this, but
Sure.
so of this phase of the project,
If you want to tell us your name and
Rhonda Mason at Water Park.
Thank you.
for this project, there's 500 feet of space. There's 500 feet of space where there's the variance question. 200 feet is what we want to take the xeriscape line to. Plus, I'll just give you all my ammunition here. We are on golf course water in that section, and we are consistently at the cap of our allotment. So we're looking at ways to save money on our water bill for the golf course, because this last year they put in a penalty if we go over our allotment. I don't know if they're going to implement it, but they threatened to put in a penalty. The other thing is we're seeking a grant for this project, and one of the pushbacks I got back from the city is, what are you doing for us in terms of our infrastructure? So that's why I looked at trying to take the xeriscape up to the sidewalk side so we wouldn't have the water run off on the streets, and how much we could get kind of balancing between the grass requirement and the city requirement. So it's been a balancing act for me. If we have to cut back, not do the point, it's not a material difference to me. Whatever the board decides, I'm fine with, but I think we still would want to retain the Edgewater xeriscaping and taking it into our community, xeriscaping up to the streets. I will also point out that there are many areas along Westbrook Parkway that are xeriscaped. So there's not a lot of grass area now, so I don't know how those areas got there okay.
Sure. May I ask you, did you approach the golf club on this?
No, I did not, and I would actually, if this board doesn't approve it, I would say, can I go to the golf club and get a waiver from them? Because it's that important to us.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think you need a waiver. Looking at this again in the minutes as well, it's just the minutes of the ACC meeting that Karen was talking about. It's not a binding thing, it's just discussion about the Edgewater Road, everything. The actual agreement, the contract, if you will, just talks about the golf course being allowed to oversee every other year, and instead of every year that they were required to do. The other thing that's in these minutes and here that I'm concerned about is the ACC is put in a position to grant a variance, and I'm under the instruction from ACC people that we're not allowed at the ACC to authorize a variance. Only the board is allowed to authorize a variance. So I find it hard to believe that the contract went through in dealing with the ACC granting a variance. And I am concerned a bit about the golf course's influence over, for lack of a better word, private property, because they're granted a lot of leeway that we even voted on last year to not take care of their property under the same restrictions or guidelines that we are to take care of ours. So I definitely want to point that out, that this contract, the agreement, I feel has no bearing at all in what Edgewater wants to do.
Okay, Joe, I think you made your point, but thank you. A very valid point.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Bronwyn, Marcy and I went out and walked that corner. There is, per your map, a 27-foot depth from your wall to the corner of the Edgewater and Westbrook Parkway. And you're asking to go all the way out. Could there be a compromise in the variance that the board approves for you today?
Yeah.
Like, 7 feet, 20 feet, or?
I won't forgo the project if I don't get the variance.
You're under a deadline for this neighborhood grant, aren't you? What's that deadline, Ron?
I'm getting bids right now. My bids are due June 19th, and the grant submission is July 30th.
Okay. Just so we know there's a time.
Can I mention something else too? With
Sure, please do.
You mentioned that the contract was 203, 206, somewhere in there.
206.
I'm sure you've all been reading about our Colorado River situation, and we may get extreme cutbacks. We're trying to conserve water and at the same time make our community more appealing by updating it. I don't think if there becomes a mandate by the state, the contract is going to hold any longer.
Exactly.
Literally. Part of the time. So, I mean, I feel like it's 20 years on, we should be kind of looking at the right thing to do.
Yeah, I think we should review it for sure. even.
I think landscaping facilities should consider the whole community for the xeriscaping versus, but all we have now is what's been enforced for 23 years and until a change is made.
Have you folks heard enough to make a conscious decision here? Okay, I will call this motion to a vote to approve this appeal. All those in favor?
What is that appeal allowing?
Their project to move
All
forward.
xeriscaping to the corner.
Right.
Okay.
As applied for.
As applied, okay.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? This passes unanimously. Thank you.
And that's a variance approved by the board. Thanks.
So being we're discussing the golf course, I'm going to skip the next item and go straight to the golf club vistas well enclosure. Just to confuse everybody. Why the golf course is fresh on our mind.
And to summarize that one, Bruce, they are asking for an 8-foot tall wall. And again, only the board has the ability to create a variance, not the Architectural Control Committee. Our standards say 6 foot.
Correct.
Excuse me, is this a temporary wall or they put the permanent?
Permanent.
If you folks read this is for a wall enclosure around a new well that's going in. If you haven't seen the equipment moving in and out of here for the last week, and there's a whole bunch behind this store. That's what it's for. They're going to be drilling for 4 to 6 weeks straight. I went and looked at the site where they want to do this. Does anyone want to make a motion on this first before I start rambling on?
I make a motion to approve this.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. I personally went out and looked at a location of this site, and it does not, they put it as strategically as they could not to interfere with the residents that are closest to it. They're kind of in between two property lines. And if the board will notice, they're going to plant the living daylights of it around it to help protect the looks of it. So that's my input there.
And it's my understanding when they presented this to us as well, it's going to look very similar to the new well wall.
That's correct.
Put at Lakes.
It's almost going to be identical. It really is the same scenario. So what if you folks saw what was at the lakes, that's what they're putting here. But this won't be visible to us, well, kind of barely from the street, but there are homes around it. There's 2 that are directly impacted, and the rest of them are far enough away that it's not a huge issue.
I just have one point I want to make, and I made it before to Kurt, and I will to him again. There should be some high-density vinyl that's installed on the gates to abate noise some. I know it won't have a huge decibel level. Is that staying in it, Kurt?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Okay.
Folks, you have any comments, any input there? Any more comments from the board? I will call this to a vote. All those in favor of approving this variance for an 8-foot wall, please say so by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Okay, next item. Guest pass policy update. Pages 76 through 82.
Who's, is this just, we're getting an update on, when I was reviewing this, I was a little confused on, like, who's presenting this update? Who brought it on the agenda?
So the board put out a survey. It was a request from a resident. And it actually, a motion came from the Budget Committee in 2024 to raise it to $100. So the board has been talking about this for about a year and a half. So the board chose to put out the survey, which starts on page 76. And it ran from November 6, 2025 through November 21st, 2025. And these are the results of that survey.
Yeah, didn't we already go over this in the past?
We have gone over, but we have made no decision, yes or no, or anything on this. All we did was review the survey. We made no decision to keep ourselves the way it is or to change it in some way, shape, or form.
Is that what we're being asked to do today?
That's a good question. Eamon, feel free to chime in.
I'm not going to at this point. Feel
Like-
good from you.
I don't know, the slides that go with this, I was just curious who authored those.
This is all part of the survey.
I know, okay, so who wrote their key takeaways from the survey? Whose opinion is that?
Communications and myself.
Okay. Because the audience doesn't see it, maybe you can forward to that. I'm just confused when I look through it, again, not knowing what I'm being asked.
So key takeaway.
If we're voting on something or we're just being updated on something. I thought there was an update on the guest pass policy, but I guess there's not. We're just reviewing the survey.
There was a request from the Budget Committee to raise the price of the guest pass policy. It was discussed numerous times at numerous meetings for a year and a half. The board did the survey, and now it's back to the board for a decision.
Okay, so we are being asked to make a decision. We're not just being updated on the guest pass policy.
Right, I would like to make a motion for purposes of discussion that the guest pass for 20 punches be raised to $50 once the free guest pass of 20 has been honored. And also that we limit the number of guests to 5 per resident coming in at one time.
Is there a second?
I will second it for purposes of discussion.
That's why I did it, for discussion.
Okay, I'm just confused again on, I think in the future we can, as I do more, and you'll hear about it in government relations, I'm learning more on how the city does their agendas, and I like it. Because they'll say what they're bringing up, they'll say who's brought it to the table, and they'll say the actions that are being asked of the board. So, for example, I would like this to see guest policy update, discussion, and possible action brought by, I don't know, Karen, I guess, brought it to the table? I don't know.
Budget Committee.
Budget Committee?
Budget Committee did this, yes.
They did the survey, but not what we're...
They did the recommendations.
Okay. And then as far as, when we look at surveys, what's written here is key takeaways, but that's somebody's opinion on the takeaway of the survey, which you can't really, I disagree with the key takeaways on here. You can't, what's that?
You have the right to.
Thank you. If we're gonna really look at the nuts and bolts of this, instead of saying 45% of the people want to change, that's really not correct. If a change was presented, what would those people want? And, you know, all of them, even what Amy just put out there was a minimal percentage, and most people want it to stay the same. And we really need, there was no option given like going back to what we used to have. And that should be an option as well.
Yes,
We were
there
just,
was.
no,
Option E.
that's keeping it the same as it is.
Right.
Going back to prior to that.
The $20?
even prior, where it was the guest passes are free. What I'm saying is, we can't just assume what the statistics say when we're given a survey, and we can't put it out there. We talked about this. I don't remember if it was a town hall or if it was an actual meeting, that people were saying overwhelmingly that we just want to keep it the same. And we need to respect that. And we need to, again, everybody knows I am against limiting guests. We have an optic out there that we're slowly moving towards that is not a good optic for Westbrook Village. If more and more times we're limiting our residents in sharing this place and trying to attract other people and being viable and vibrant. So that's why I'm steadfast and adamant on not keep talking and in circles about this. I think the survey shows how we should act, and we should keep it the same right now. Thank you.
Okay, as a member of the Budget Committee and Ways and Means last year, there is a cost for us bringing in guests, and I feel personally that we need to help mitigate that cost. I in no way, shape, or form am a fan of restricting the number of guests we're allowed to bring in, but I do feel that we have a duty to this community to help offset some of these costs, even as minimal as it is. And I feel the $50 is a reasonable request. Now, we can dissect it if you want, but just on its own, it's $2.50 a punch. Or you can go further and say we get 40 punches for $50, which becomes $1.25 a punch. And when that happens, that doesn't even cover the cost of the administration of handing out a wristband. And I feel we need to be sensitive to that. I don't want to be restrictive in any way, shape, or form, but is there truly a person in here that can't afford $2.50 for a punch on their card?
Well, I'll chime into that, and I said it before, I'll say it again. There's people on budgets. There's families that are larger than other families. So
that's correct.
You're saying when they bring their family in, it's $2.50 per individual. That can add up quick. And I understand there's a cost, but I think we're not doing our due diligence if we don't convey what that cost actually is. And I've said that before. If there's a cost, what is it? We need to do a quick feasibility study, if you will, to come up with what a few sheets of toilet paper and paper towels cost. Because that's, all the encumbrance I really see when somebody wants to bring some guests down to the pool.
Any other discussion from the board?
Got a question.
Okay, yes ma'am.
Kathy Carter, Willow Ridge. I was going through past board meetings on the videos, YouTube videos, and in January of 25, there was a motion on the table from the board, and it was about the guest policy, and the motion was that the second guest pass, in other words, the first one you have to pay for, would be $100. There would be 5 guests per resident per day, and that children 16 and under would no longer be a punch. They would come in for free. So that accommodated those with families that wanted to come in. It was very interesting because after board discussion, another member of the board brought up a legal suit called Callaway. And that discussion went on and became rather heated. And at the end of that, Amy, as the president, said, okay, we've had enough, let's move on. And there was never a vote that was taken on that motion. The motion was left sitting. And then they moved on to club passes, changing the name to what those club passes were, a non-resident club participation pass, and how much it should cost. Someone wanted to raise it, others didn't, and the name was approved, but it remained the same at $50. That was all at one meeting in January of 25. So you did come up with some options for guests, and I liked the part of having children be able to come in and we're not going to have to punch for them. The part I didn't like was I felt that 5 passes per day per resident, not per household, was a little discriminatory. As a single person, that I have the same number of grandkids and kids as a couple might have, but now that couple in a household gets to bring in 10 passes or 10 punches, and I'm limited to 5. So I felt it should be by household, not by resident. Okay, Amy, go ahead.
I felt that there was further discussion on that, and we said, because I'm a widow, that if you have an exception, call the desk and they'll let you in. You know, it's
Okay.
a 1 or 2 times a year
Yeah.
thing for
Yeah.
most of us like that, so.
Yeah, that was the only piece that bothered me. But this was never voted on. If you go back and watch the video, there was never, I went back and watched it twice. And I think it's because it got disrupted by the discussion that was off topic on this legal thing called Callaway or something. But it was just a glitch in what happened at the time. But that was put on the table with a motion and a second. And I think we should reconsider it. The only thing I would like to add to it is that I think we should cap the number of passes a resident can purchase in 1 year. The reason is our data that I got from Karen from 24, there were only 11 people that purchased additional guest punch cards of 20 over 3. So in other words, you used your 20, you purchased one for 20 more passes, you purchased a third one for 20 more passes, and then there were 11 people that went on to purchase several more punch cards. If we could limit it to 60 punches, like you can purchase up to 2 more cards after you use your 20, then I think that takes into account those that are really overusing the guest policy system.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to cut you short.
Okay.
You're at 4 minutes. So
Oh, sorry.
folks,
Okay.
you are on a timer here. It's always been that way. You get 3 minutes, so I encourage you to speak to the point quickly.
Yeah, I just want to make a comment. I wasn't here in January of 25, but moving forward, you know, I don't think we should limit, who are we to judge what somebody else's familial situation or friendly situation is? Again, as I said, you know, we need to remain open and welcoming in this community and not so restrictive. And especially financially, there's people on fixed incomes that still want to use the property even in the future that may not be using it right now, but we shouldn't tell them that they can't by limiting how many guests they bring at any one time. It could be, there's barbecues and things, hey, let's go down to the pool and barbecue, and you have teenagers, you know, that are over 16 or just a group of adults that all belong to one family, maybe having a family reunion, and they're not allowed, with some of these things we're entertaining, they're not allowed to use the facilities. And I think that's something we need to consider when we make this vote is, 1, the optics again of what we're putting out there. Number 2, the actual usage of it. You know, I didn't come into this community to be restricted on my usage of the facilities. just because I happen to have a big family. Thank you.
Folks, keep your personal opinions quiet, please. Kevin, please. You can apply.
I think there are a couple things that should not be part of the decision making. A widow, a single person, it's okay to bring more. Why isn't it okay? No, I'm not calling on you specifically.
I said that I think there was flexibility that was
right,
discussed.
and I think that it shouldn't matter what your situation is, big family, small family. Look at, as a practical matter, how many guests we truly have. Very few. How many facilities are ever impacted? None. Maybe the fitness area, but it's too small just for the people who live here. The pool is where more than half the guests go. 2 pools. There's plenty of room there for everybody. The idea that if your grandchildren are a certain age but not a certain age. The other thing is, this isn't a profit center. The valid point from our past treasurer and current president is, what does it cost? Well, I've presented that. We spend about $3.25 million a year. We have 7,200 residents, 365 days. When you do all the numbers, it works out to be just about $1.25 for everything, for the irrigation, for the bloated salaries of our staff. For everything, for this building, the electricity, all of that. We can have some fun too. That's what it costs, $1.25. When we bring a guest in at the current policy, we charge them $1.25. We're getting our money out of them, okay? So I think we should look more, and I kind of like some of the things that Joe's saying is, what's about the community? I was introduced to Westbrook Village as a guest. I bet most people at this time, 2nd, 3rd generation people, came here as a guest, learned about this as a guest. It's a friendly community. We're not being overrun by guests. Look at the numbers, the facilities usage reports. We're not being overrun by numbers. I don't see the reason to change it.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question.
We're going to Rand wants to speak first, please.
I believe sometime during the year 2025, the guest participation club member fee was raised to $75.
Correct.
I don't know if that was at that meeting, but it's going into effect on January 1st. That's that correction. The other thing that I just want to mention is that this board has a fiscal and fiduciary responsibility, and sometimes our decisions may go against a larger majority of the community, but it's in the best interest that we feel for the community.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm going to cut this short. Mr. Davis, your hand's been up many times. Please come up.
It's been up twice, Bruce.
Well, I didn't want to wear you out.
First of all, for Kathy Carter, great information. Very, very good information. And that information needs to be presented to the board, because this is not the first time. I mean, for crying out loud, we've been talking about guest pass policies forever. And the January thing, we actually voted on it, and then quickly right after that, we had a special letter go out to Marcy wherever she's at, and then we kind of put that on hold for a while. And we did the town hall. Guys, we've done this countless times. It's like, we did vote on it, and we said to leave it as is. And I understand that there's some different ideas about how much money that we're spending and all that kind of stuff. There's different ways of handling that as well. So I encourage you to just stick with the decision that we've already made. I don't even know why it's back up on here, but I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Does Robert's Rule of Order allow another motion to be made prior to voting on the motion on the table?
One would have to be retracted or amended.
Thank you.
I do want to amend my original motion because I am a financial person. I think that there needs to be an escalator on the $50 of $10 a year maximum ongoing, since this will become an ongoing policy. And Max?
I didn't understand your minute.
Okay, my motion was for $50 and 5 people with an annual escalator of $10 per card, with a maximum of $10 per card.
Maybe each year, the
I'm
price of
just
that
trying
card.
to avoid having this discussion for every year. So if we ignore the fact that inflation happens, that shouldn't be.
So you're saying in 5 years it'll be $100?
No, I'm not saying that it be mandatory. I'm saying that it would be capped at $10. I'm actually kind of putting a level on it in the other way.
Based on.
But it could be $100 in 10 years. In 5 years, excuse me, 5 years.
And I think if you look at the historical recommendations from both the Budget Committee and the board, we recommend escalators at CPI. And if it is at 10%, we're all kind of being broke if it's 10% per year. So I'm just trying to say that I am concerned about the optics, Joe. Thank you. And
Well, I think we could keep it the same and revisit it every now and then. That's not a problem.
That's a problem for me. I'm weary of this whole subject.
Yeah, but we still don't know the cost of each person. Like, I'll go back and back.
You know, I hear what you're saying, but
if we came to the
it's
table,
common sense here, the prices are increasing. And it's common sense that we need to adjust accordingly as a community for our own survival. And I don't feel that we were asking a lot here. And if you're gonna amend something, I'd definitely amend restricting the number of guests coming in per day, because I can't get on board with that myself.
And what is your recommendation, Bruce?
My recommendation, as it was written, I believe this is my proposal, of 20 guest passes were complimentary, and 20 were additional, 20 were $50. And it's as simple as that. Nothing more, nothing less.
And no CPI consideration on future years? Because that might put this issue to bed.
I hear what you're saying, and I feel then if we're going to go down that path, this should be tabled, and
We have gone down that path on raising ballroom rentals and several other cost structures in this community, just to give some historical background based on CPI. And I don't have a problem of withdrawing my motion and making a new one to have it be $50 with an annual escalator potential of CPI, and let it go with that.
I would accept that amendment.
Which is basically.
So to confirm, the motion has been amended to continue with the 20 free per property annually. Any after that are $50 with a potential escalator of CPI recommended by the Budget Committee.
Yes, that's great. Let's have it come from the Budget Committee.
And no cap on the quantity of guests.
Yes, that was my intent by my amendment.
Max, did you second that or not?
Yes, I will second.
Okay. Is there any other discussion?
Well, if I understand this correctly, we're basically telling our public, thanks for your input on the survey, but we really don't care what you thought.
55% agree with it.
Of those that took the survey, that was not 55% of the community.
Okay, hold on. You know, decisions are hard to make here, folks. And I hope you appreciate that I got no sleep last night over this stupid one subject. Yeah, it is stupid. Kevin, I'm gonna give you one more shot. Here we go.
I understand there's inflation. Why was $1.25 the current pass price per guest, per visit? Why was that too low? Why is that too low now? I've looked at the numbers.
Because that number's not accurate.
I've looked at the numbers.
That number's not accurate. You put 20, that's 40. You get 20 free.
Right.
So it's 40.
Okay, but I've had this discussion with, when Steve was the treasurer, and I asked him, are those free? And he goes, they're all in the budget. That's free, that's in the budget.
But it's still, our reality is, you gotta take those and dissect it further.
Well,
that's my reality. I'm sorry, that's my personal opinion.
I hear you, Bruce. You've made the comment that if we knew what it cost, we wouldn't be happy. I believe that many board members don't know what it costs, and that doesn't make me happy. What a guest costs. What does a guest cost? I've presented it. If you disagree with it for some reason, I understand.
So I get that.
Right, but I know how much we spend, and I know how many people we have, and when you make the math, so any board member who votes for this just because they think things get more expensive, we need to charge more, I think you're missing the boat. It depends on where you started. Are we good where we are now?
Okay, thank you.
And so I wish board members would think about what the real numbers are, not just what we need to raise prices because prices go up.
Okay, thank you. Okay, well, either way this vote goes, I would appreciate if you guys would just step back and put yourselves in our shoes. I don't take this decision lightly, either way. All those in favor of Amy's amended motion, please say so by raising your hand. I see all those opposed.
And I am opposed because of the reasons I said, as well as I think it's negligent on our part to not know, to make this decision without knowing what a guest actually costs us.
Okay, with that said, this motion passes. Thank you very much.
Did Steve vote? Steve lost connection, so we will vote with just the 6. Okay.
Could you give us an example? Could you repeat the whole final decision on what your motion was?
Sandy, if you want to talk.
You want me to repeat it?
Come to the mic.
Come to the microphone.
Kim Foley, Cameron Place. I'm just like a summary of what you just voted on. Because I'm totally still not clear and I'm sitting out here. Are there no
This motion,
restrictions on, yes, $50? What is the whole deal?
this motion that was just passed allows the 20 free guest passes to each home. Additional guest passes will be purchased at the price of $50 for each 20. And it will come with caveat that each year the budget committee can request that we approve a raise of whatever the CPI is for that year. Is that clear enough?
When does it take effect? Immediately?
I would say immediately.
How many guests per day?
There is no limit on guests. I feel that is an important part that Joe brought up. We cannot limit guests here. Okay, thank you. Moving on, committee reports. Architectural, ACC, Amy?
Well, we still are getting a profound number of applications per month, but for the most part, they're great applications. I appreciate Marcy's working with the committee and approving so many. She's working hard, folks. So that's pretty much my report on ACC.
Thank you. Landscape and facilities, Mr. Bob.
Well, the report is in the binder. We're just still come to a final conclusion and hopefully be done at our next meeting on our planned zero-scaping of the Westbrook Parkway Lakeview Road project. So that's what we're working on right now.
Okay, thank you. Long-range planning, Max?
The report is in the binder, and I'm sorry, I haven't looked at it yet to see.
I will just share a little bit that we have formed a second ad hoc committee on there that we want to review the long-range plan for some significant projects that we will determine would be necessary to keep our community viable over the next 5 years and up to 10. We met for the first time and we had 3 very different approaches to which to go on. So this is going to be an interesting little discussion.
And we have 2 ad hocs.
We actually have 2 ad hocs, but one of them's doing half and the other half's doing the other half. And we'll see where we end up in the middle there.
Lots of hard work. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, it's going to be more work than I ever anticipated. Government relations, Mr. Joe.
The city of Peoria is working on some funds from the feds. The biggest asterisk I saw with what's going on lately that would impact us here in Westbrook is transit funds. And a lot of you may have seen the little bus, I think it was called Go-Go if I'm not mistaken, but it kind of went away. But I think it's very important for our aging community to be able to have reliable transportation to get to where they need to go with simply a phone call or an app, if you will. So what's nice about that is the city also sees that as being very important, not just a rural metro bus route, but an actual shuttle bus and other people, for lack of a better word, kind of similar to Uber, that the funds be in place to enforce that. And then I know Karen was mentioning at the last meeting, we're talking about possibly getting the mayoral people to come to our village and speak. So I need to get with Karen and get more involved with that.
Okay, thank you. You're up again. No, personnel, Steve is absent.
Information is next.
Oh, yeah, information, yeah.
And on that committee, as somebody mentioned last month as well, we are moving forward with possibly looking at applications such as Zoom for meetings. I am leaning towards Teams. Some of you may or may not know what Teams is. It's run by Microsoft. A lot of companies, the company I work for, and even my wife's company use Teams, and I think that is more favorable than Zoom in both costs. The costs are, what I'm researching, very minimal. It would be free for all Westbrook Village homeowners to log on and attend a meeting. It would cost Westbrook Village, being the business, $4 per user, which I assume would be approximately 10 users in that office to facilitate meetings and different meetings. And as we move forward, I'm going to be talking and asking for your help and guidance in that we figure out how to move forward in this and possibly present it and get something in place sooner rather than later. Because I know there's a lot of people that are absent during the summer that would like to see this in real time and possibly have a comment as well. And as well as winter even, there's a lot of people that have a hard time getting down here to attend a meeting in person. So I think that's something we really need to move forward on quickly.
Okay, thank you. Where I was going, Personnel Committee, Steve's not here. Joe, you're on the committee, correct?
Yes, Steve and I have been talking in the past few months about several things. The most important thing on our agenda is coming up with an actual policy to present to the board, governing, if you will, disruptive behavior at the entry points, if you will. At vistas and lakes, there have been incidences in the past where there's been a disgruntled homeowner and making very threatening tones, not even just threats to the people that are working for us. And I think we need to have something in place to protect our employees, an actual written policy that if somebody gets out of hand, Steve and I talk about it, they need to be brought to us and we need to handle that situation. But there's nothing written that would enforce that to happen.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is.
There's a zero tolerance policy that's been with the board since 2011.
What's the ramifications of that policy?
I'll send it to you.
No, but what are they?
Multiple levels depending on the incident. We've restricted privileges. In fact, there's people in here, we've restricted privileges because of behavior.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a zero tolerance policy, but it needs to be updated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what we're discussing then.
Yeah, I'll send it to you, Steve.
I would like to be a part of it since I'm on the committee as well.
Yeah, so there's been no meetings, right? I don't show.
Informal, I should say informal.
Oh, just
We have discussed, yes, yes.
2 of the 3 members, okay.
Yeah, that's quorum.
So I'll email this.
I don't believe.
I'm on the committee.
Yeah,
I've been notified. I would have told you guys we have a written policy on that.
Okay.
I'll send it to all 3 of you.
Okay, that's good stuff. We do need to protect our employees as best we can in that situation. Rec Committee, Max?
Well, we're under discussion on the club bylaws. The updated club bylaws have been turned into the administration, which is sending out copies to the committee. And we will be discussing them at the next meeting. As far as the last meeting goes, we approved the appeal from the pickleball for fun. And that was about it. It was a good meeting and a short meeting. But for this next meeting, we will be discussing and perhaps voting on updated club bylaws.
Okay, thank you. Town Hall? Joe?
Yeah, we're still moving forward with, I mentioned that last month, discussion points to be determined. I think we've got a few on the table. And it's still looking at some dates in November, another date for the second one in January or February.
Perfect, thank you. Ways and Means.
Okay, we had our meeting, the usual, looking at our finances, and the one issue that we did bring up today and we voted on was what we did at our meeting.
Okay, perfect, thank you. Golf Club and Westbrook Village meeting, I was present at that. It was devoted exclusively just to discussing the well that's going in, pretty much, so you folks all heard prior what that discussion was about. It seems like we still have a strong relationship with that club, which is important to me, and it's going okay. Thank you.
I have a quick question about that, Bruce. Just looking at your, you included the draft, discussed doing an amendment to the 2009 wall agreement, because I know there's still some contention on who's responsible for the walls. Is there any movement forward on?
No, there's no movement on that. If we could back out of that agreement, we'd do it in a heartbeat. But convincing the golf club otherwise is pretty tough. You don't know, we're in the middle between the golf course, the homeowner, the wall that separates the golf course from the individual homeowners, and we're basically on the hook for maintenance of those with the golf course, and we don't feel we should be any part of that agreement, but an agreement's an agreement, so we're gonna have to live with it. Manager's report.
In your binder, starting on page 109. Our facilities manager, as I said, is in the Philippines, and the AGM is doing jury duty. It's been a very busy month. The fitness center, we're continuing to receive wonderful compliments. I was in there on Monday. People love the wall being down. We are having sunscreens put on the west windows. And as everybody sees, the palm tree trimming is ongoing. And as Bruce stated, or Amy stated, our architectural control applications continue to dominate. And the resales.
I have a couple questions, Karen. Bocce ball court turf replacement project is completed. And that goes kind of along with what I mentioned last month meeting when the lakes was closed and I was concerned about the artificial turf. My concern about bocce ball, when I went over there and looked at it, is there's a seam in there that with new turf, I don't believe that there should even be a seam that exists, and it's already being worn enough, if you will, that it's very visible. And I'm just questioning on, did we allow a seam to be put in there? Or should it have been installed with no seam, which I believe. And then also, I was told at the last meeting that we had paid, I think Max asked how much it cost. It was like $450 to have the artificial turf at the lakes refluffed and infilled. And I went over there and there is no infill. And I questioned whether or not it was actually broomed. I was told that it gets done every year, and that means it's been done for how many years without it being done correctly. So I'd like to know who are we paying that money to do the work, and who's observing it being done?
So our facilities manager schedules and oversees that. That turf is coming on 7 years old, and it lays down the day after it's broomed. It's a very tall turf. It's seen its better days.
Yeah. And I think it does that because it was never infilled.
Oh, it was infilled, and it has thatch.
It doesn't, when I look in there, just so you know, when I physically pull back the fibers, there's no infill in that turf.
Okay.
So I really think we need to ask the person that we're paying to do that.
We have have two companies. SDL does it for maintenance for us, and then Sean hired another company after the flood. So I will have Sean take a look at that. Same thing with the seam on the turf. I don't know that they could have done that whole project without a seam, but I can't speak to that.
Yeah, and there's no infill on that either, just so you know.
You don't infill on bocce ball turf. It's a total different weave. It doesn't lay over. So I'll have Sean be in touch with you when he gets back from the...
I would like that, because I would like to at least be able to convey to him what I know so that he can convey that to the people that are doing the work for us.
Okay, thank you. Keep this moving on. Homeowner comments. Please keep this short. I have a date in 2 minutes. My mistake. Kathy Carter.
This may not be as short as you want, but Kathy Carter, Willow Ridge. I remain concerned about the liability created by open access to the pickleball courts. Given the guidance we have already received from our insurance company and legal counsel, delaying construction of a perimeter fence raises serious concerns and may represent a failure of the board's fiduciary responsibility. According to the website properhoamanagement.com, quote, when board members breach their fiduciary duty, they risk eroding the trust between the board and the residents, potentially exposing the HOA to lawsuits or regulatory scrutiny. To avoid such breaches, board members should continually educate themselves about their responsibilities, consult legal counsel when needed, and prioritize the community's welfare, unquote. I recognize that our community is facing a highly organized special interest group whose vocal participation can strongly influence resident discussions. The board should listen carefully to these perspectives. However, I have not heard any argument that justifies further delay in constructing some form of perimeter security. By postponing action on this issue, the board increases the safety, security, and liability risks facing all residents and may be neglecting its fiduciary responsibilities. Matters involving resident safety and community liability should be addressed promptly and with the seriousness they deserve. I respectfully request that the board place this item to a vote at the July meeting. If we are to maintain our insurance coverage, construction of a perimeter fence should be treated as a requirement, not an optional measure. Resident input may still be valuable on the fence design, but not on whether or not perimeter security is necessary. Once the fence is approved, the board should resolicit contractor proposals and begin the process promptly so design options can be reviewed in September. Please move forward this issue without further delay.
Okay, thank you very much. Joy Graves.
Joy Groves, St. Andrews.
Groves, I'm sorry.
Place, that's okay. You do it every time.
At least I'm consistent.
I know you are. I just, I have concerns about this fence issue in terms of, I feel like it's a capital improvement, and talking about a fiduciary duty in terms of expense, I do not think that it should. I do not think it's needed. It hasn't been validated. I think if you want to get some kind of ring camera to survey the courts to see if we have any vandalism or walk on people or whatever, because that would at least give us some info that we might need it. But right now, I think it's just a control measure.
Yeah, thank you, but you wrote in bylaws.
And I do have the
You're on the clock and you've already burned 35 seconds up, so
okay.
you know.
All right. In our bylaws, it states that any capital expenditures over $20,000 will have to have a special meeting. So I guess I ask you that if you're going to spend $180 or whatever $1,000 on a fence that we don't need, that you abide by the bylaws. And it says it has to have a special meeting, it has to be published to the members 10 days, and 3/4 of the members and votes can cast a change. So I just ask you to go with the bylaws.
Thank you. For the good of the order, any goodness? You know there's a donut day coming up. You haven't signed up, sign up. Donut Day's Friday, if I remember right.
Yes, please, Friday, R12 Health is sponsoring donuts.
Denise Murphy, rec manager.
R12 Health is coming in and they are sponsoring donuts for us. Right now I have less than a handful of people registered, but I know more will show up. There's no way we can tell how many to buy. Please come, please sign. We're not asking for money, we just need a count.
Will there be chocolate cream?
At the lakes, and it's on Friday at 9 a.m. Lakes Section C. So please come, we'll have coffee, we'll have donuts. Enjoy your National Donut Day with your residents. There you go, then you can work it on. Thank you, Grace.
Yes, ma'am.
The Desert Dancers had our free show. Norma Apodaca, Tamarind Place. The Desert Dancers had our free show, spring celebration, in the Lakes Ballroom, and it was a hoot. We were really pleased. We had 18 people that went to lunch with us. But the point of this is what a great job Denise, and Ashley, and the maintenance did. Because we walked into that room, everything was perfect, and it was advertised, everybody just went over and above. And so that's a good thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Nora, thank you. We do have a very strong staff, and we are fully staffed, so thank you for those that see that.
Anybody else? I won't cut anyone short. All right, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much for hanging with me.
Thank you.